What's up, folks? What's up? Oh my gosh, Mr. Carpenter. What's up, sir? All right, here we go. Oh man. So, like Beavis and Butthead status, dude. Bro, the stupidity of people, man. I'm going to show you this. And this is laughable, okay? I mean, because look, I get the whole Democrat versus Republican thing. I get it. I'm not even talking about that right now. I'm not left or right. I could care less about uniparty, this party, that party. I don't really care. I'm an American. And I love our Constitution when it is moving smoothly and not under threat all the time. And part of the reason it's under threat all the time is because of people like this. Okay? If you're going to have liars everywhere in your administration, this, that, dude, Pam Bondi even admitted that if we were to release the names in the Epstein files, that it would be a catastrophic time for the U.S. government because everybody is listed in it, right? So, do the math on it, dude. It is hard to watch. And you know what pisses me off, dude? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're about to get banned, bro. I don't care if you come back under another name. I'm going to ban you anyway. I just don't care, bro. What's up, Spencer? Oh, I like that. What kind of pistol is that? Jack, evening chat. Okay, this is hard to watch, but it's kind of necessary to watch. I just want to show you guys, like, I don't like Dan Goldman, Democrat. I don't like most Democrats because they're always just so unhappy with anything and everything. Whatever's going on, they're always angry and upset at something. At least on the Republican side, which they're corrupt as well, they're at least smiling and giddy about some stuff and, a little more optimistic. I don't ever hear anything optimistic out of a Democrat mouth. I'm not taking sides with any party. You guys know me. I'm not doing it. But I just want to show you that this subject, it doesn't matter what side you're on. If Donald Trump is in the files, I want to know. And I want to know what he did. If, Howard Lutnick is in the files, I want to know he is. And I want to know what he did. What are the communications? What do the emails say? What do the victims say? I want to hear it, dude. Because you're never going to have any kind of justice in this country if these people just continually get away with this stuff. All right? So, I think this one is Chip Roy. I'm not sure. Let's start this thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review some of the unredacted materials. And I am looking forward to your detailed explanation for why you have withheld almost half of the documents, which is required by the bill.
Now, what he's talking about is the Justice Department went into all the files and they redacted everything. They redacted so much stuff. These guys want to see the unredacted stuff. All right? Why not? Let's rock and roll. Let's see it, dude. You can't have child traffickers. You can't have pedophiles. You can't have all these people getting away with this stuff without any consequences. And one of the small reasons I think, is that, look, we're all accountable for everything we do. Whether I do this today, you do that today, you do this tomorrow, Trump does this tomorrow, or whatever it is, every decision that you make in life has consequences. And so you have to own up for everything you did in life. And look, if things are going to crash down and collapse because of this, Bring it, dude. I'd rather have some justice and go through some hard times and then reshape everything rather than have these same people get away with everything. And we'll get into the jobs report number in a minute or after this. Stand by.
Now, obviously, there are 3 million documents, so I didn't get through much. But one thing I didn't see was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York and a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress.
Still redacted.
So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those 2 documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Listen.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
Right, look what she did. Look, dude, I wish people could just be honest. Stop trying to protect people. Obviously, they're trying to protect somebody, right? And everybody probably, because they have a political position and they're worried they'll lose their political position if they just tell the truth. I think all of us can agree here, we don't really care about what the truth necessarily is. We want to know that the truth is being told to us so that we can make a decision as to where our country goes. This is not their country. We run the show. They don't. We voted for these people. And we voted for the Trump administration to represent us. And yes, I voted for them. Let's just get some truth. Brother, truth. We need the truth. And so what he asked was, will you make a commitment right now to have the files unredacted so we can find out what's going on? Now, this guy is after Donald Trump. Hands down, he's after Donald Trump, right? He doesn't like Donald Trump. He doesn't like Republicans. And there's a great divide in our country. And I'm not for this guy, Jasmine Crockett. She's a kook. She's a jack. She's got the IQ of a Somalian, you know? So let's get the truth out, man. Whatever it is. Listen.
Okay. They're not privileged, but we will discuss that later. I also found an email that I have right here from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell that was unredacted. And it included notes of statements that Donald Trump made about his prior relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there is no reason for this to be hidden from the American people. There is no privilege. There is no attorney-client privilege. And I see you're checking with your staff. And I can assure you, staff, this is not under attorney-client privilege because it was sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. Will you commit to publicly providing the unredacted version of this so that the American people can understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
See, okay, here's what I don't like about this guy. He shouldn't just be talking about Donald Trump. He should be talking about everybody in the files. And if homeboy's in the files, we want to know what you did, punk. Yeah, you, everybody. I don't care who you are, who it is. No one matters. It doesn't matter. If you did this to children and you did things that were against the law, you need to be held accountable. And I think generally that's what all these guys are trying to do. I mean, this guy's an exception. He's a total kook. But at least he's asking, can you have this not redacted so we can find out what's going on?
You're about as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
So will you unredact this? Will you unredact this?
You were lead counsel on that. Privileged.
I'm asking you, will you unredact this?
Privileged.
Privileged, of course.
See, she's protecting him.
I look forward to discussing this more.
She's protecting him.
These are obviously improper redactions.
And let me stop for a minute.
I'm talking. I'm
if they're
talking.
not privileged,
quiet.
Don't yell at me. If they're not
Mr. Chairman, would you stop the clock? This is on your time. It's not on Mr.
If they're
Gold's.
not
Even though
privileged,
you used your
if we review
improper
them and they're not-
redactions.
You'll like my answer.
I kind of like this guy's comment, Aaron, PB5XY. No mention of Obama or Biden, but Trump's name dropped over 1 million times. Right. You know, if it's Trump, Biden, Obama, Michael Obama, whatever, everybody that's in it, I don't care who it is. Like I said, I'm going to reiterate that again and again and again. I don't care. I want to see what happened, what's going on here. What is the extent of the damage that we could see in our country? Leave it in the comments if all this stuff comes out. I don't know why they didn't get Trump. I don't know, dude. People have different opinions. Like, okay, if he's in it, he's in it. If he's not, he's not. I don't know if he is or not because they're protecting people. So we don't know. And I think these guys are really trying to just get the bottom of it.
To
If we
continue
review
to
them and they're not
protect
privileged,
Donald
Time belongs to
we
the
will
member.
be happy to release them.
We'll
after
stop the
review.
clock. We'll stop the clock. Time belongs to the member. Go ahead.
Even though you used improper redactions to protect Donald Trump and other predators associated with Jeffrey Epstein, you did the exact opposite
He's not
thing
wrong.
with the survivors and victims of this scheme.
Watch this.
So their identification information was really the only thing required to be redacted, and it was not. And it's clear this was not a mistake. This was not by accident. This was not because you only had 30 days when you really used 75, and that doesn't even include all the hours last March that you were redacting it. But I'll tell you why it's clear it wasn't a mistake. There is an email entitled Epstein Victim List. There are 32 names. One is redacted, 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you that that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors and victims. Now, in an interview last week,
How will you tell me that's intentional?
in an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd
You
Blanche
can't go off script.
said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, would the survivors and victims who are here please stand up one more time? Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and estimate and evidence? None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence? All of them. And of those of you, all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice? All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Ms. Bondi, it looks like you have some more witnesses
Gentleman's
to
time has
talk
expired.
to. And I yield back.
We will go to the good gentleman from North Carolina, Congressman Knott.
May I have a moment, Congressman?
Yes, ma'am.
Listen,
Thank you.
watch this.
Here we go. Here's the photograph. This is why he wanted to repeat everything that had been said previously on Epstein. This is his state, New York. You probably don't even know who this is. Wahid Mohammed from Afghanistan.
Yes, because I'm no longer a prosecutor.
Convicted of assault. Wow, he represents New York. Wow, yet he doesn't care about the illegal aliens.
See, look, you see what she just did? You see what she just did? She just deflected to his incapabilities, which he's very incapable of a lot of things. He's a crook. He's a criminal. But still, it's to my point. We want to see the predators' names in the files no matter what. No matter what. She just goes on to give more of those. Let's see what Chip Roy has to say.
20 seconds, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Let's hear the opposition research.
Thank you. That's absolutely right, that they're not running for, he's not running for office again because, well, I don't know why you're not running for office again, but after the filing deadline, you publicly announced you would not run when your chief of staff, Patty Garcia, announced and took your seat.
That's a state matter. That isn't a federal matter. You should investigate crimes.
You
should investigate violations of the law.
The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas.
And a little flexibility on the time. I appreciate the chairman. Madam Attorney General, am I correct that under your leadership, the Department of Justice has prosecuted cases of non-citizen voting? So it's false, as some of my Democratic colleagues have claimed, that it doesn't happen.
Yes.
I ask that today because we're voting on the Save America Act today to enact common sense policy to ensure only American citizens vote in American elections and enact federal voter ID laws. But it's true, for example, that in just this month, a federal grand jury in Newark indicted 2 men with illegally voting in federal election and making false statements. Mohammed Mazammel and Mohammed Shakil were non-citizens at the time they registered to vote. It happens regularly, and you're prosecuting those crimes, correct?
Yes.
But does that prosecution of those criminals overturn their previously cast votes?
That's all pending.
Okay, I don't think Chip Roy is. Okay, so let me see here.
It does not overturn.
Before I continue, I want to show you the one. Okay, here it is. Hopefully this is it.
The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
May I respond very briefly to her statement?
Well, I think we can do that probably on one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victim's survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files. But he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking.
Dang.
Not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking.
Look, and see, this guy's a multi-billionaire. So it's almost like you can consider all the rich people on the planet were a part of this. That's probably why this thing will blow up so big in people's eyes and in the country. It'll destroy everything. The voting, the taxes, the everything. The country will probably fall apart if you release the names of everybody. Now, who in the chat agrees with me? You don't have to agree with me just because you're on the channel, bro. You have your own opinion, and I respect it. Me personally, I don't know if we could even handle, like psychologically, the impact that it would have on us. Like, what would we be doing tomorrow if we found out tonight that everybody that was a multimillionaire, multi-billionaire was in the Epstein files and did certain things with underage girls? I mean, what would you do with the information anyway? And would it really collapse the entire system? Think about it. You'd probably have no one to vote for. You'd have a purge in the in the roles here, you would have all kinds of people being replaced in Congress, the presidency, more than likely. I wonder what would happen, man, but I'm not sure where I stand on it. I don't want to see our country collapse to where we're all fighting each other in the streets. I don't think any of us want that. If we could somehow get away with having these people have to pay for their crimes and start over without violence, that would be epic, dude. Get some young guys in there. Get some young meat in there, dude. Some young women, some young men who have business experience, who can change things for the better, and make the decisions, the hard decisions that, they don't have all these connections and they don't have all these relationships and donors and this and that. If you got rid of that and got young people in, we might be able to save our constitutional republic. I mean, I don't know, dude. What do you guys think? There's nothing you can do except prep. I know, dude. It sucks, dude. There's nothing you can do but prep. I know, bro. You can't spin it any other way. Nothing would happen because everyone is dopamine poisoned and impotent. Well, if you keep drinking Mountain Dew, you're going to be impotent. Be careful that we don't become of the mob. Yes. All right, let's play it. Thomas Massie, I think, is good. He's an enemy of the Trump administration. He's one of these guys who just wants to see the Constitution prevail in this country. Prep and pray. I like it, dude. What's wrong with that? They called him a failed politician. Is he really? He doesn't look like he's failed. It looks like he's still up there.
And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will
What's up,
never
Eagle
see
Claw?
because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back?
Mr.
Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer
question.
on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700, and we invited you in.
This is all a distraction.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome.
Look, she goes to, this guy's got Trump derangement syndrome. So is wanting the truth and wanting some freaking justice, is that Trump derangement syndrome? I guess if you don't belong to the camp, if you're not MAGA, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. I don't really think I've got any kind of syndrome other than a crazy syndrome loving Jesus Christ. Can I get a hallelujah and an amen? Yeah, my syndrome is I love Jesus too much. And my syndrome is that I want people to pay for their crimes just like the law breaks us when we break the law. Bro, they smash you when you break the law, dude. I've had a ticket. I've had a speeding ticket on my record for 2 years now, and it's on there for another 3, and my insurance company shafts me every freaking month for a speeding ticket that I've already paid for. And it wasn't even that bad of a speeding ticket. As citizens, we're always getting shafted. These people need to get shafted. I'm sick of them running around thinking that they're above the law, they can do whatever the hell they want, there's no consequences. These people have freaking, I don't know what kind of syndrome they got. Maybe you guys can help me with that. I don't know. I'm just over it, dude. Listen to this jack. I get more and more disgusted the more I hear these people.
You're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get
want
on
you to watch
these
the video.
matters.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the
himself,
rules here.
there is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
Oh, shit.
My position
Dang.
is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Are they going to get
Did you
through?
ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming
at all
my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger
when
than
you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to
most
know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen.
Yeah, how fast were you going, bro? $1,100 is like reckless driving plus. Was it a DUI and reckless driving? Jeez, man. Yeah, the guy charged me $150. I was going down a hill. I was going 10 over. I was going 45 and a 35. And he even wrote that I was going like 7 miles an hour over just because he thought he was being nice. I mean, thank you, but why does it have to remain on our record for so long? You know why? Well, the insurance company CEO needs a new yacht, and you're going to contribute to his new yacht. The guy probably went to Epstein Island on the yacht that you're paying for through your speeding tickets. Fuck. Bro, I went to the DMV to try to get it expunged. And you know what they told me? The insurance company told me to go to the DMV. 97 and a 65. Yeah, bro, you were hauling ass. Bro, that's fast, dude. Like, I get it. I love going that fast, but man, when you get caught, 32 miles an hour over. That's right, honey. 2-tier justice system, honey. All right. So I went to the DMV after the insurance company told me to go talk to them, and the DMV couldn't do anything. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to the courthouse, and I'm gonna see a judge and ask the judge, hey, judge, with all due respect, thank you for the court time. I appreciate it. I need to get this off my record. Because this insurance company is charging me so much freaking money every month, and I'm pissed. I'm angry. People are struggling. People are having a hard time. And these insurance companies get richer and richer and richer and richer, and we see our money being floated out so much. Gone, 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 gone. Yeah, you're lucky you didn't impound you.
To release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
She didn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering,
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted.
Entirely
Even when you go
redacted.
to look at
Without
them.
objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and
Without objection.
identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you.
Chairman, are we going to
Without
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection. Just want to check on how much time we have left in votes, but one thing I've learned here of late that they'll wait on us. How much time do we have? Oh, they just called. Okay. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Maryland.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Here's a good one. Look, this is the 60 IQ. Listen, here, I call her 60. Here's 60.
Expired. Delay is recognized.
Thank you. I seek unanimous consent to introduce into the record the research that Representative Kamlager-Dove and I referenced concerning the threat of right-wing domestic terrorism, which the Department of Justice scrubbed from its website in September.
Without objection, the gentlelady from
Thank
Texas
you.
is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very basic questions really quickly of my colleague, Becca Ballant, if she will answer right or wrong, raping children.
Wrong.
Right or wrong, killing random citizens.
Definitely wrong.
Right or wrong, enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States.
Definitely wrong.
Okay, thank you, because I
Hold on. Okay, so she's a hypocrite already because she's enriched herself in her position. So instantly 0 credit.
Never would have got that with our witness. Our witness who somehow is a lawyer but does not understand how it works with witnesses. I'm not really sure what law school she went to and what all kind of cases she tried. But typically when you come into a space and somebody's a witness, then they sit there and they answer questions instead of asking questions. And then we also have this objection that we use as lawyers called non-responsive when a witness fails to actually answer the question. But nevertheless, let me address.
I'll start calling her 70. Okay, she's a little smarter than 60. I'll give her 70. Okay, we'll call her 70.
The survivors, because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughing stock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ, as we see kings and queens falling everywhere around the world. But we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massie, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going. My Democratic colleagues have been attacked.
Yeah, she's a total joke, bro. She's a kook.
Hearing. They have been lied on. And frankly, the American people weren't looking for that. They were looking for answers about the corruption that they see coming from this administration.
And like, what? Dude, it's almost like she's rapping. She's like rapping while she's talking. She's got that like thug step. Yeah, man, what's up, dog? What's up, man? West Side, y'all? That's what she's doing. Listen to her. She sounds like she's rapping.
Administration. In the written testimony of this witness, of this particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps. In fact, your boss, the President of the United States, stated that this administration, quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin. Just
represent.
Like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ because you don't seem to be good at your job. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting these journalists. In fact, we know after Georgia Fort and Don Lemon were arrested,
let me ask you a question.
We know that there were homes of journalists that were raided. We know that threatened prosecution against students protesting your actions and forced tech companies to remove apps used to
Classic,
ISIS
bro.
activities.
Oh my
But let's
God.
circle back to you protecting pedophiles and creeps, because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein.
Nailed it.
Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts.
Ask
Fact
questions,
number one,
you shut
Donald
up.
Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, I get it, but what about other people, dude? Stop going after Trump. What about other people? What about, I mean, come on, dude, Bill Gates, bruh. Bill Gates has done more damage to this country than Donald Trump has. Who else? Jeff Bezos? I mean, who else is in this? Bring it, dude, as Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, man, you want to bring on the action, man?
Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators.
TAC Prepper, what we're doing, we're playing videos of the Epstein clown show hearing. We're watching Pam Bondi cover up for not just Donald Trump, but everybody. She's covering up for everybody. And that's what we're getting at here.
That describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, this is a good one. Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from full.
Yeah, that's how much cash did rich people pay these congressmen not to mention their names today? Oh boy, how I would like to be the fly on the wall in some of those offices.
Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal
Send it to me, I'll play it on
Tom
here.
Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history, an attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized. Excuse me, gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr. Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we talk?
I do. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try, Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted. And
okay, so you're going to tell us that. So what else? What else? Start spilling the beans, chick. What's your problem? You work for the people or what? Or do you work for private interest? Who do you work for?
I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide,
Here we go
arson,
again.
weapon offense.
Deflect is a tactic for not staying on the subject. She's deflecting. What a jack. Yeah, she continues to duck and dodge just like Merrick Garland, just like the Biden administration did. They do it. Each one does the same thing.
Convicted. So what are we talking about? Convict some of these perpetrators that rape these women that are sitting behind you that you refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
Dang.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds back to make up for the yelling? Thank you. General, did you have anything further to say?
Texas, convicted of homicide. Cecil Joseph from Dominican Republic. Texas, convicted.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong in what she's presenting here, because these Democrats, they get away with releasing criminals back out onto the street. That's what they do. They're not Democrats, they're communists. That's what these people do. They're creating an unstable environment is what they do. Yeah, Law 101, exactly. Jason Smith, you're smart, dude. I love it. I love it. Here, let's see what this jack has to say. Oh, what is that thing? Is that a human being? Oh, God. Yeah, look, when you see, I'm going to play this just to show you guys what the type of people we deal with in Congress. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This is a perfect example of what not to look like.
Good morning, Attorney General Bondi, right here. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring.
Look, this woman has never been happy about anything. Her birthday, Christmas. This chick has like the perma crap grin on her face. Why should anybody listen to these people? Look at, they're like the lowest of the lowest people. You notice our media, all they do is spend time worshiping these crackheads. I want to say other things, but why do we worship these crackheads? Like the media is always interviewing them like, oh, we're having so and so on to give us their opinion on such and such. Bro, these are the lowest of the lowest people. You wouldn't even have a beer with this person. And in fact, you would deny a beer from this chick. Believe me, I would. I'd be like, no, you can send that right back to her. I'm not drinking it.
They have shown such incredible courage
in
speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators and pedophiles to justice. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators. Here behind me is one example of an email from Epstein to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files, did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business and personal ties to Trump's advisors.
That doesn't mean Trump's guilty, though.
Second, the survivors were not similarly protected, also in violation of the law. Here is another email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors for their protection, but your Department of Justice initially released this list of 32 survivors' names with only one name redacted.
And look, that's a tactic. The DOJ used a tactic. Look, these people are at war with each other instead of fighting for the public. You know, they're supposed to work for us, but you notice what they're doing? They're going back and forth. Well, the left's attacking the right, the right's attacking the left, and they both wonder why they have to fight with each other so much. Look, this is how civil wars start, you guys. When you have one party and then another party, and they can't come to the table and agree and work out and compromise and do something that's right for the people and not your individual position in Congress or the presidency or wherever in government. When you can't cooperate with each other, you have a war. Now, I will say that the Democrat Communist Party is way worse at it than the Republicans. Because I truly do believe that Democrat communists, they want escalation.
Along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs and even the identities of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their names. Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein.
Dang.
In their words, quote, "This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades." To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand.
And they all stand up.
And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before, Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi.
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a
Attorney General,
specific question
Attorney General
that
can
I would
respond to your
like
question.
you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer them.
Patiently waiting.
Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she
It
doesn't
is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she ask
question.
Merrick Garland this
I am
twice
reclaiming
when he
my
sat in
time,
my
and
chair?
when I
will
reclaim my
For credit for Pam Bondi, I'll give her credit for this. None of these people made a big stink about Epstein when Joe Biden was president. None of these people did. But now it's a big stink. Why do you think that is? Leave it in the comments.
my
you to
time.
answer.
It
Mr.
is
Chairman, the
mine.
gentlelady has
I'm
reclaimed her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness
I'm
is
not going to get in
interrupted.
the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time.
doing
And
theatrics.
let me have
Like
my
it's blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah crap is what you get. You get blah, blah, blah crap is what you get. A bunch of crap. And I'm gonna play this for you guys. Check this one out. If you believe this, I got a bridge I want to sell you. Listen to this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Lutnick, as I said in my opening statement, you led people to believe that you had cut off all contact with Jeffrey Epstein after the 2005 encounter you and your wife had in his apartment. But as I'm sure you know, the Epstein files show a very different record of interaction. Why did the Epstein files show you coordinating a meeting and planning a visit with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island in December 2012?
Thank you for the question.
Listen to
I'm
this.
glad to be here.
Thanks
to
you
make
for the
it clear
question.
That I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York. Right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years,
Okay. This guy, listen to what he says and watch his body language. Watch this.
met him 2 other times that I can recall. 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him. And then a year and a half after that, I met him, and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person. Okay?
Secretary Lutnick, I think you understand the root of
So, you know what I think? Part of me has to think this, is that these people that participated in the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile island crap is that just lie. Just lie. Everybody just lie. That was like the code. Just deny it. Lie about it. Deny it. Lie about it. Deny it. Lie about it. Lie about it. Lie about it. Lie about it. Constant lies. To where you think that, you know what? They all have the same lie, so it must be the truth.
concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it, but
Mr. Secretary, again, as I said, there's not an indication that you yourself engaged in any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein. It's the fact that you believe that you misled the country and the Congress based on your earlier statements, suggesting that you cut off all contact when in fact you had not. When you visited the private island, did you see anything inappropriate during that visit?
the only thing I saw with my wife and my children and the other couple and their children was staff who worked for Mr. Epstein on that island.
And you realize that, this visit.
That guy has got guilt written all over his face. He's not a good liar. I mean, I'm not saying he's guilty. I don't know. Only God knows right now. And I'm sure there's some people in the CIA who know if he's guilty or not. So you've got God and then some people in the CIA. But he looks guilty to me. Ooh, that's a good one. Johnny Be Good. Everybody needs to read that one.
Took place after he'd been convicted, right? I mean, you made a very big point of saying that you sensed that this was a bad person in 2005. And then, of course, in 2008, he was convicted of soliciting prostitution of a minor. And yet you went and had this trip and other interactions. Did you have a dinner in Epstein's New York City home in 2011?
No.
So the information that suggests that there was a dinner with Woody Allen and Woody Allen's spouse at the Epstein residence, that's there's nothing to that, is that right?
I actually don't know what you're referring to. There was, look, I looked through the millions of documents for my name, just like everybody else. And what I found was there was a document that says that I had a meeting with him on in May, I think, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Not dinner or otherwise, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
All right. There's also a reference to the fact that Epstein had expressed an interest in meeting your nanny. Do you know whether Jeffrey Epstein ever met with your nanny?
No, I saw that. I had no idea what that was about. It had nothing to do with me,
No
as far as
interaction
I know.
involved with him on that?
No, as far as I know, no.
Would you, Mr. Secretary, be willing to ensure that the file is complete to share with this committee and the Congress your own records, any records you have that relate to Jeffrey Epstein?
I will surely talk about that. I hadn't thought about that. I have nothing to hide. Absolutely nothing.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I do think this goes right to the heart of the question of credibility based on the Secretary's earlier statements. I hope to pursue some of the other issues in front of the hearing as we go on. Thank you.
Senator Kennedy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being...
Okay, so you guys have all got a good idea of what is going on in any administration, is that they will protect their party no matter what. Screw the people. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Right? They don't care, man. If they could just run the country and get rid of all the citizens, they would. I really believe that, dude. They would just sit there and bicker at each other, and we're not even really in the way anymore. We're just bending over, taking it, watching the Super Bowl. What a dumb, are we that dumb? The real question is, why do we allow them to rule over us? Surely we ain't that soft. Tragic reality, it is. Yeah, we are that soft, dude. You know, we've got football and basketball and stupid sports. We obsess over presidents and, first ladies and Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston crap, Matt Damon, all these losers, dude. Losers. Obey, consume, sleep. Exactly. Yeah, they like to vegetate out, dude. It's just ridiculous, man. It's totally ridiculous, dude. Yeah. So that's it, you guys. That's it. Just remember, they were killing kids on that island. Not many, but CSI teams should. Dude, they've probably done all that stuff already, bro. They probably did it all. All right, that's it for me. So now you guys got a good idea of what we deal with in this country. They're not there for us. They're there for them and their political aspirations and don't give a crap about the people. Republican, Democrat, no one cares. You're on your own. Get your house in order. Do what you need to do. Don't pay attention to the media. Don't pay attention to the president, whoever's president. Don't pay attention to them. It's your job as an individual to go out there and figure your own stuff out, live your life while not giving any kind of attention to these people. If everybody did that, we would have a wonderful life in this country. We wouldn't be so obsessed with kings, queens, presidents, dictators, this, that, the next Voltron that comes out, the next movie that comes out, Dune 3. Who cares? Go surf, live your life, go camp. Go somewhere you haven't been. Do something with your life. Go enjoy your life. If you don't do that, then you're going to get sucked into this twisted crap. And one thing I'm going to say before I go, and then I'm clicking the off button, is that when you come to the realization that if I was to live somewhere in like Alaska where you have no internet, you've got no communication with the outside world, you wouldn't know about any of these people. You wouldn't know anything about politics, which, think about that. That would be a clear mind. You would be able to focus on the important things in life rather than being obsessed with all this freak show. That's because that's what it is a freak show. And that's what we have to deal with. And no property tax in some parts of Alaska. Yeah, I bet, dude. You wouldn't know who J.D. Vance is. You wouldn't know who Howard Lutnick is, dude. You wouldn't know. So we need to start acting like this, right, ladies and gentlemen? If you love the Lord Jesus Christ, put it in the comments, amen. And then I'm out of here. I'm out. Yeah, the American people get shafted and we pay for everything. Everything we pay for, dude. So that's it. I'm out of here. May the Lord bless all of you and keep you. Amen. I'll probably go live maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned. We got some good stuff coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, go do your own thing. Go do your own thing. We'll do this from time to time. I took a vow to not get into it too much, but this one was just too much over the top for me. I kind of just wanted to share it with you guys. But as of right now, when I sign off of this, I'm not paying attention to it no more. I've got things going on in my life. I can't be focusing on all this. I want to help you guys get better. I want to see you guys help me get better to where we can all contribute to society in whatever way the Lord Jesus Christ above wants us to do it, how he wants us to do it, fulfill his wish and fulfill his hope for us so that we can be better people. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. And to the ages of ages, amen. Love you guys. I'm out of here.